Good afternoon. My name is Myron Sanders, and I am doing a financial analyst, competitive analyst over the company. My primary company will be Whirlpool Corporation, and the opposing company will be General Electric Appliances Corporation. Whirlpool is an American multinational corporation founded here in America in 1911. They primarily produce home appliances that have been trademarked since 1911. Uh, General Electric Corporation is the only company that's listed as their competitor, and in the industry, I've come to find out that many American-based home appliance companies that were once competitors, they actually have been acquired by companies such as um, Whirlpool, which acquired Maytag, Amana Corporation, and Gen Air, that were also founded in America. Uh, during my during my analysis, I've seen that Whirlpool is keeping a steady income flow and has slightly risen in total assets, but has taken a loss in net income from 2017, the previous year, which has affected the returns in the ratio tables, which we will get into in further detail. Just to get more general information um, about the opposing competition. Um, GE Appliances make make home appliances as well. They have been like the only competition for Whirlpool that's actually been neck and neck. Excuse me. Um, as far as like analysis goes, we can go straight into detail of the competitive analysis. We can start with the actual liquidity ratios. The liquidity ratios pretty much I assessed them over both companies, and they both started off strong. In 2013, they both ranged around the same amount. Actually, General Electric was doing a little bit better in the current ratios and the quick ratios, and they reported in 2013 for current ratios 1.2842. The opposing company, which is Whirlpool, reported a 1.033. 2017, they closed out last year taking a loss, which was a lot lower, which was a 0.932. General Electric actually raised the bar, going from a 1.284 to a 1.317 at the end of 2017. With the quick ratios, um, with the quick ratios in 2013, Whirlpool ended up having 0.679, which was okay, but it wasn't as good because the quick ratios actually let us know how the company is doing with the assets versus assets compared to liabilities. So it's okay, but it's not as good. Anything over a one is pretty well, and that's what General Electric had in 2013. They had a 1.23, which was a lot better than their opposing company, Whirlpool. Once again, they and at the end of 2017, the end of the closing year, they had a 1.09, which is a lot better than what Whirlpool had at a 0.58, which actually dropped compared to the 2003 reported quick ratios. Next brings me to the profitability ratios, and in the competitive analysis, the profitability ratios will determine how well the company is doing based on shareholders' equity and actual profit margins on the reported accounts. In my analysis, it seems to me this is where Whirlpool was doing a lot better at. Um, and on the return to equity, is pretty much like the return on each dollar that's invested by the stakeholders. And for Whirlpool, their returns was 16% or 16 cents on each dollar that was given. Compared to General Electric, they were at 0.0976, was actually a lot lower compared to what Whirlpool was actually given to its stakeholders. So it's much more of a profit for its stakeholders on each dollar that was given. And same goes for return on each asset. In 2013, Whirlpool reported that it was given 0.0512 and ended out that year given, well, they actually dropped but 2017 they gave them 0.0174. Their opposing competition, General Electric, on the return on the asset started off in 2013 with a 0.0203. Uh, in and out that year, they took a loss actually actually on money. So they couldn't really give a return on the asset. They actually took from the asset and they owe money at negative. They took a loss at negative 0.016. In the operating profit margin, uh, again, Whirlpool did a lot better. In 2013, they had 0.0440. 2017 at 0.0164. Their opposing competition started off a lot lower and ended off in a negative retrospect. So in the profitability ratios, you can see that Whirlpool was profiting more. So it seems like that General Electric is actually losing out a lot more money in regards to actually the money that's invested, how it's being spent, because the returns aren't coming out the same way as Whirlpool. Both companies seem to not be doing well at the moment, but Whirlpool is actually doing a lot better than what General Electric is actually giving at this moment. In the debt management ratios, which is the next ratios that we'll be discussing, the debt management ratio will let us know which company is managing its assets in terms of having more assets than liabilities for the future wealth within the company. Uh, I say both companies are doing well. They're both staying under 100% for debt ratios. In 2013, Whirlpool reported that they only had 67% worth of debt ratios. In 2017, they rose actually 74%. So at this moment, it seems like their liability is starting to gain more compared to what the assets they're having reported. For General Electric, they started off with 16%, so it's a lot lower than what Whirlpool has got going on. So they have the assets to cover their liabilities at a better rate than Whirlpool. In that 2017, they actually finished off with 20%, which they gained a little bit more. They gained a little bit more liabilities on their side, or maybe not as gaining as much assets, and it's proven because their ratios have definitely rose 4%. But the debt to equity is pretty much like let us know which company is using more debt in order to fund or help the company grow. And in 2013, Whirlpool reported to have 36%, 36.67%, which is quite low. They're not using as much money, not as using much debt, not taking out as much debt to fund the company. And that's a great thing because General Electric is using a lot more money. They 2.19, which is 219%, which is 7 times as much as what Whirlpool is using as far as debt goes to fund and build the company or grow. Same thing goes in 2017. Whirlpool, they did rise in the amount of debt they were using at 85%, 0.8572. But General Electric is using a lot less than what they started off using because they're now using 1.6174%, which is still a lot higher than what Whirlpool is using. So it's really putting the company at risk, I would say, as far as having debt or having the liabilities rise within each year, because those long-term liabilities within debt that you're using to fund your company can therefore affect your company if your company does fall short within the market. You never know what can happen in the market that can shift changes to where you invest or you're using debt to operate your company, and what happens next year is there's nothing, that's unpredictable. So I would say Whirlpool is doing a lot more better. So at this moment, just to do a quick overview, we did the debt management ratio, we did the profitability ratio, and we did the liquidity ratios. We've seen in the liquidity ratios, General Electric is doing a lot better than Whirlpool, its opposing competitor. Going into profitability ratios, we see that Whirlpool is doing a lot better. They're making a lot more money. Return on the equity, the return on asset is a lot higher than General Electric. and their operating profit margin is a lot better than General Electric. They're not taking any losses. Let's say they're not going into negative deficit, just like General Electric. It seems like they're running more so off of debt or liabilities, but they're actually maintaining it by making money at the same time and staying afloat because it was showing the liquidity ratios. Same thing goes in the debt management ratios, as you can see, or as you will see, that the debt ratios, they're using a lot more debt than Whirlpool, and it seems to be working for them. As you can see in the debt to equity, they're using 7 times as much in 2013 compared to what Whirlpool is using in 2013, and twice as much as what they're using in 2017, just to get the gist of it. Moving forward to the asset management ratios, the asset management ratio determines how well a company is managing its profits that are gained. Um, and just to get into it, the accounts receivable turnover pretty much is letting us know how fast the money is getting, how fast they're receiving it, the assets in their accounts, and showing that in 2013 it's 9.032 for Whirlpool. In 2017, they reported to have dropped lower and it went to a 7.5311. And compared to General Electric, who started off with a 6.8283 and ending with a 4.9959, they seem to be gaining the money a lot faster than what Whirlpool is getting their gainage in. Um, Same thing goes for inventory turnover, and this may be the reason because the inventory is staying a lot longer than General Electric's inventory. In 2013, Whirlpool reported to have inventory lasting up to 12.8 days or 12.8, whatever how it's scaled. Same thing, at the end of that year, they did drop down to a 6.2 days. General Electric had theirs started in 2013 at 6.6 days. In 2017, it was at 2.9. So it was on the average of 3 days of keeping the inventory and keeping what they have in inventory. Um, the total asset turnover they have reported in 2013 at 1.2074. It's a lot faster with General Electric, which is at 0.224. Um, It seems like they're just doing a lot more better, just getting the assets out and gaining more assets and keeping them available for a better product, and maybe the marketing and maybe something that they're doing to get them out there. But they're pretty much in the asset management ratios, their ratios are better. Um, we actually get some losses going on for Whirlpool in the inventory to net working capital, which you see in 2017, they took a loss of negative 5.1965. And for General Electric, they have a 0.7577. And Whirlpool is taking a loss in inventory to net working capital, meaning that they're not selling as much inventory as they should or uh, producing too much, while General Electric is doing fine in that area at this moment. So that's great for General Electric, but it's pretty terrible for Whirlpool. So we pretty much got to find out, because that is my company that I chose to represent. We pretty much got to find out to cut losses, but also find a different way of producing more and pretty much selling more at the same time. And then that brings us to our final ratio, which is the market value ratios. And so we have that General Electric is at the top of two ratios, and Whirlpool, from the ratios that we have compared to each other, um, Whirlpool has three ratios. So that brings us to the final one, market value ratios. Whirlpool has a higher book per share value, meaning that it's shown more valuable in terms of shares and cash flows, and much more meaning in the money that is, meaning that the money is invested per share goes a lot further with Whirlpool than it does General Electric. And in 2013, we have shown to have that 63.60 cents per book value share. Compared to General Electric, they have $12.98. So if I'm investing in Whirlpool or I have shares in Whirlpool. It shows me that my money goes a lot farther and it's worth a lot more compared to General Electric. The same thing goes for at the end of the 5 year mark. They did drop down a little bit lower for Whirlpool, which is $59.13. But compared to General Electric, which is $7.40, I can say that they're doing a lot better than what they have. Same thing goes for cash flow per share, uh, which pretty much lets you know how much the dollars, what's your investment, what's your share, how far, how much is your share, how much are you accumulating, how far is it going, and the cash flow per share, which is letting you know, is 2013 was $15.91, 2013 for Whirlpool. Opposing for General Electric, it was going at $2.79. So with that being said, it seems like they're using a lot more liabilities to produce and work in the company to where it's cutting your losses as a shareholder. In 2017, Whirlpool actually risen and went to $17.24 compared to General Electric that actually dropped to $1.2001, which is a lot lower. So as a shareholder, I will look at the equity and determine where is my shares and how am I going to profit on the back end? How is my money, how me purchasing shares, what is my returns on it? And it's showing me that my money can go a lot further with Whirlpool compared to General Electric. Maybe because the debt ratios, the debt that is being used is really affecting how everything is spent. You know, they did make more money in the liquidity area, but it's proven when you go to the different ratios how it affects you in different areas. Um, my name is Myron Sanders, and I do believe that Whirlpool had the better company in terms of financial ratios and the financial analysis. Uh, the General Electric, they are a much larger company, I do feel, but they, on the terms of doing ratios, they're all on the same product line because it lets you know how a company is doing, whether it's larger or bigger. If you're in the same industry, you know it does affect you on the dollar range. You may be making more money, but you determine on your how many liabilities that you are taking. It could be a loss to the company, determining on what you're doing in your company. And 5 years, 10 years down the road, things can shift, and Whirlpool could be the larger company if they keep going and adjusting. Maybe if they learn how to make more money because the liquidity ratios are down. I've seen a couple losses in the asset management ratios um, that could be adjusted. And looking at the statements, it seems like they're spending a lot more money on inventory and then inventory than what General Electric is using. But General Electric is seems like they're spending a lot more on long-term notes or long-term or short-term notes. I've seen they spend a lot more. So that's something that it seems like they're relying on to keep on producing in their company, and it's pretty much affecting the ratios on what's given because the company is pretty much working off of debt, and what money that they do make, they're paying off of debt instead of making a cumulative profit. At the same time, the net income is turning into just note payments. Uh, in retrospect, other than Whirlpool. This is my financial analyst. My name is Myron Sanders. Thank you.